All right, guys, we got a good show for you today. We have Braden Smith. He plays in the new fan-controlled league. He played for the Zappers this season. He also went to Franklin University. Thanks for coming on, man.
How's it going, man?
So originally this season, you signed to play in the Arena Football League for the Salina Liberty, but changed your mind to come to the FCF. What made you decide to do that change?
Yeah, so when I was originally lined up to go play indoor ball, that was kind of my only option. I was going to go play overseas, and then that came. So that was my plan. And then Coach Jenkins here, he had seen me at a ANC combine last April, and he had kind of been staying in touch with me, from April to really November. And he was telling me about this new league forming, and like all through the summer, I was like, man, I'm not, I haven't heard anything about this. I don't know if it's legit.
Yeah.
So then in September, the league came out and like announced that it was happening.
Yeah.
And I saw it and I was like, okay, maybe it is going to be legit. And then Coach Jenkins calls me, said, hey, we're fully funded. Like, this is happening. I'm like, okay. But at that point, I had already signed in like September. I think I signed in August or something like that.
Yeah.
So, then I was like, okay, like, and the way that the indoor contracts, most of them are set up is like, if you're playing for the indoor team, but you receive an offer that's considered better, then they will release you and allow you to go play. So that's what I thought would be. It didn't go out as smooth as I would have liked, but one of the coaches there didn't really see this as legitimate, like fan control football. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
But I eventually made my decision because my agent told me that he had been told good things about this league, and he was advised by NFL scouts to send his. So I'm like, if NFL scouts are telling me, and then I went to a tryout in November in Pittsburgh for this league, and Coach Jenkins was there, and just seeing the talent there, convinced me that, okay, Coach Jenkins, he's pulling guys from, he's finding good talent. And so based off of that and the fact that my agent was being recommended by NFL scouts to send players there, that's kind of what made me decide, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it a shot.
Yeah, for sure. You had a bunch of big players even came, like Johnny Manziel, Josh Gordon, Robert Turbin, to name a few. All former NFL players, which you don't really see in like arena football as much, I feel like. So,
right.
You kind of alluded to it. I feel like a lot of people have a big misconception on what it means to be like a fan-controlled league. Can you kind of go in about it? Because I know you guys don't have every play called by fans. I know it's just like a select few. Talk about that.
Yeah, so coming in, it was interesting. I had my, I was a little skeptical, like, how is this gonna work, but when it comes down to it, we practice just like any other team. We practice just like, we learn the plays just like I always have in every other league. And we're still being told, it's just like our coach is still telling us what play to run. The only difference is, from a strategic standpoint, you may have fans that don't quite understand the game or don't understand indoor. Because when you're playing indoor, the dimensions of the field are much smaller.
Yeah.
That means that not everything that works outdoor is going to work indoor. So, and our offense is really an adaptation of an outdoor playbook.
Yeah.
So, there are things that have worked. There are things that we put in and have never made available to fans to call because it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
But honestly, other than running QB draws 10 times a game,
Yeah.
Especially you're on the goal line when they blitz. I mean, you saw, I don't know if anyone could tell, but that was one of the plays called on my last drive on Saturday. It was a QB draw, but they blitzed. There was nothing that we can do there. And I'm not allowed to change the play. I can flip a run play. If it's a toss left, I can flip the play, but I can't really be like, hey, no, just like, just run the fade. So, I mean, it's been pretty good. I mean, like I said, the ball is still in my hands every play. It's still up to me to make a play, and I know what routes my guys are running. And there's certain plays to where actually a lot of them are predicated on what the defense is doing. Mm-hmm. So essentially, if the defense, say there's one play where if the corner is off, then the receiver runs a hitch. If he's pressed, then he runs a fade, and that's the same play. So there's things like that where we can take advantage of what the defense is giving us.
Yeah. It's interesting because you got that big like Twitch, so you are getting a lot more people that would watch your games versus like arena football. And you're getting a lot more looks, I guess, in that aspect. But as you said, the downside is some plays you're getting are not the right plays you'd be called at times. Mm-hmm. But with that considered, what do you think was your favorite part about playing for the Zappers this season?
Favorite part? I mean, I can't act like throwing 2 Hail Marys 2 weeks in a row wasn't pretty cool. Throwing one is crazy, and I'm not taking responsibility. Travis he snagged it. That's all I can say. Yeah. And obviously we had Josh Gordon, so I'm gonna give him a chance too. He had a guy hanging off his arm like a little kid. He picked him up and caught the ball. I mean, that's I would say that would lead into really my favorite part about playing here, and that's the players here. Not just from a talent standpoint, because playing at a small school, D3 school in college, we didn't really we played some talent. There was a couple guys that shouldn't have been playing D3, that should have been playing D2, D1 ball that we played against. But for the most part, Division III, small schools, not always the best talent. Sometimes you do, like I said. But coming here and seeing a lot of guys here played in the pros in one form or another, XFL, CFL, and a lot more guys than I thought actually have former NFL experience. So coming here, getting that experience, I feel like I improved just from practicing with these guys. But also, these guys are characters. I mean, they're hilarious. I've laughed more here in this season than maybe any season ever. I mean, these guys are hilarious. But it was really cool to see and come into like a professional environment where everyone kind of like I got this feeling as I arrived. Everyone here is here because of how much work was put in. I think everyone realizes that and automatically kind of grants respect. It's like, okay, like if he's here, like, that's just my standpoint. Other people probably feel differently, but I felt like there was a lot of respect, just like around the room for the most part. So that was pretty cool to see. But I would have to say, definitely the people that are here. Great coaching staff, great talent, and some great guys here.
Yeah. This season, it just ended for you guys this weekend. You had a tough loss, but what do you think, like, you really want to work on for this upcoming off season, and maybe in the future, so possibly, like you've alluded to, NFL scouts, maybe you could make a jump there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so like I said, I feel like I've really improved in certain ways. And again, I also mentioned earlier, this field is much smaller. I don't know how old you are, but if you remember watching Kurt Warner ever play, he played indoor ball, and his story is pretty famous, from that standpoint. But he explained after coming from arena to the NFL, he's like, this is slow motion. I'm used to indoor ball where windows close so much faster. there's less space, there's less room for error. So I think, if I was to transition to a big field again, like I hope to, hopefully that would come to me in a similar fashion, but as far as what I want to work on, I would say continuing to understand defensive coverages, because in college, again, it was D3, but there were definitely some good coaches that were throwing some stuff at us. But in the pros, it's not always cut and dry. Like, okay, I know that's going to be cover one. Like, there's a lot more disguise and things like that. So I would say analyzing film for sure, and then honestly confidence, because before coming here, I didn't really see myself as a pro. But now that I've played with these guys that are pros, that have been in the NFL, that's boosted my confidence. So I would say I want to work on continuing to, believe that I can play at a high level. So, yeah.
Like you said, Kurt Warner was like a famous story, but recently, like PJ Walker, he played in the XFL.
Yeah.
Get to the Panthers. You're kind of seeing that a lot more, because it's really interesting. You're seeing it. Yeah. So you talk about, you went to Franklin. What made that the school for you at the time, and what do you think like was the biggest, I don't know, learning experience from it, and like how playing at a D3 school, like I guess humbled yourself and everything?
Yeah. So, junior, I got my first. I guess I'll start in high school. I started my junior and senior year. I was a stick. I was really skinny. I was the same height as I am right now, but I was like 185, 190 is what I graduated at. And I had hoped, with a big frame, and like I knew that, I could make some tough throws, and like I knew like my highlights were pretty good in high school. We weren't spectacular, but we always had a winning record. And I had highlights. I had athletes around me that made me look good. And so I was kind of frustrated when I didn't get so many looks out of high school. I had Eastern Illinois was interested, but I didn't want to play there because at the time they were actually about to go under. The whole university was about to go under. Illinois State showed some interest, but the QB coach straight up told me to my face that I was too skinny. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then other than that, I might have had a chance at like Indiana State. But other than that, it was a couple D2 schools, a lot of D3 schools, and then one, maybe 2 or 3 NAIA, and then a JUCO. But I was dead set on going to another school. They had reached out to me before anybody, and that's Monmouth College. It's up north in Illinois, and my head coach in high school was at a coaching convention in Terre Haute, and the Franklin coaches were there. They exchanged numbers, and they shot me a text. And if I pulled up Franklin's website, it just looked welcoming, I guess. So I went and visited. I only visited there twice before I said, yeah, that's where I want to go. It was kind of one of those things, just like it just kind of like felt right, So I just went with it. I trusted that was the place that I needed to be in. And then like you asked, what kind of, what was that process like? What helped and things like that. We had our head coach in college was, he's a coaching legend especially, in Indiana. Most people know him. His name's Mike Leonard. Great coach. He just retired after my senior year. But our offensive coordinator for my first 3 years was Craig Yeast, and he played at the University of Kentucky, setting a bunch of records at receiver. Really great offensive mind. I think he taught me how much more there is to an offense, because in high school it was line up, run a post, throw it to him, and this was like coming into college, it was like full field, like reads and progression. So I would start over here, read 1 to 2, come over, then you have an over out, then there's there's something else over here, and then you drop it off to the running back if you have to. It was more of that. But he made it easy as complicated as some people may think, he made it about as easy as it could be for his quarterbacks and all of us there. So that's something I really appreciate. I think that experience, being coached by both of those guys, really kind of shaped me and gave me the opportunity, and here I am. So
Yeah, I was wanting to ask you about that because we have there's 8 other guys that we do a show. I'm going to Lafayette. It's a small D1 school in Pennsylvania. 8 guys on the football team. They're freshmen this year. They're going to help me out. They do it with us. And, they didn't always get the biggest looks, I guess, in college. And, they're there now. And I wanted to ask you, for them and other people, what would be your best piece of advice to someone that maybe got overlooked or wasn't given maybe what they thought was their fair shot?
Yeah, I would say don't use that as an excuse. You may have been overlooked, and I don't know, because I feel like I was meant to go to Franklin. You're going to end up in the right spot, and if you get an opportunity, take that opportunity. That's basically my advice. I went to a showcase right after my senior year, and their slogan was, "It's not where you play, it's how you play." Mm-hmm. So if you go, especially at a D1, if you're at a D1 school at all, you're going to have people watching you. For sure. So, I would tell those guys, and even if you're D2 or D3, you're still going to have people watching you. You're still going to be in a spot, you're going to have an opportunity to make plays. And all it takes is one person to see you and give you a chance. So whether it be an NFL scout or a CFL scout or an indoor scout, it may not be the most conventional way. Obviously, the most conventional way is full ride, go play at Florida, onto the, do great at your pro day, go to the NFL. Well, that's a very small percentage of people. So people are naturally going to be overlooked. So again, I would just say, take advantage of the opportunity that you have, and don't hang on that, oh, I was overlooked. I'm just trying to play. I'm not really, but again, I would just say, make the most of it. Most people would kill to be where they're at right now as it is. So that's my advice.
Yeah. Final 2 questions, more fun. So what song are you playing before a big game on the aux always?
See, I go back and forth. Because I'm personally not a huge hip hop guy, but I'll listen to some if it's pregame or if I'm working out. I can't work out. Normally I'm a country music guy, but I can't.
I'm a big country.
Okay, but I can't. Almost always, I guess I'll say, I almost never can work out to, Luke Combs or it's just not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One song. Oh man. I guess I've always loved Middle Child by J. Cole. I don't know why, but coming into our senior year in college, that was me and my buddies jam as that was coming out. And it's kind of one of those, it starts out, I can't repeat the first word, but basically him being counted out, and coming into our senior year, we graduated a lot of talent at Franklin, and we were being counted out, and yet we still competed for a conference championship, so that was kind of a song that we used as motivation. So that's one that I definitely still play.
Yeah. Final one. It's a would you rather. Would you rather have a Lamborghini in your garage or 9,000 books with infinite knowledge?
I gotta go with the books with knowledge. I feel like materialistic things are great for a few weeks, maybe a few months, maybe a few years, but I feel like I would rather have peace of mind and possibly the ability to help guide other people. I would say it would be worth a lot more to me. A Lamborghini would be pretty cool, but I feel like with knowledge, you can do a lot more. Even saving your money or to buy if you want to buy something. But
Yeah.
like I feel like knowledge is power. I feel like having some wisdom is more valuable than having whatever you want. But yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate you coming on for this. We have a few fan control football players coming on. Got a couple of the FCS players. We're kind of doing something like this week, and I'm getting something special. So I really appreciate you coming on and helping me.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah.